Pictures up, quiet please.
Parker? What's on your mind?
I've thought about this all night. Whether what I'm about to do is the right thing or not.
Let me go in and talk to him alone, Dr. Mallory.
I did so only because he was working along lines contrary to the good of mankind.
Well, Rangers, looks as though Agents Mackenzie and Hopkins are going to have to get to that hacienda and get there mighty fast.
To crush all opposition, make me the most powerful man in the world.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Good Movie Hunting, the podcast where we discuss movies at their best, their worst, and our favorite. Today, my special guest is Emily. Hello, Emily.
Hello, everybody.
How you doing today?
I'm all right. How are you?
Oh, I'm freaking fantastic. I'm sure that our lovely audience is wondering where the heck we've been for the past couple weeks. I won't go too much into detail, but I will say that I did have to have surgery, so there was a lot of stuff leading up to that, and then the recovery after that, so it just took us a while to get back on track, but here we are. And today, would you like to tell everyone what we're covering?
We are covering Hocus Pocus 2, or just Hocus Pocus movies in general.
Yes. And today, so we have to add, of course, the Rotten Tomatoes rating for this movie, which obviously it's still pretty early on, but right now we're rolling in at 60% for critics and 55% by audience.
Which is an actual crime. Like, Bette Midler's in this movie, it should automatically be like a 75%.
Right? I was surprised. I expected it to be higher, and I guess especially on the audience side, because it's like a nostalgic thing, I thought that people were going to be more on board with it, but it's also that tricky thing with sequels too, that people are very sensitive about it, and
maybe they waited too long, maybe they look a little bit too different, but before I get started, because we made jibber jabber for too long for our audience, so I'm going to drop our socials at the beginning. We have a Facebook page at Good Movie Hunting or at GMH Podcast, Twitter at GMH Pod, Instagram at GMH Podcast. Our email is goodmoviehuntingpod@gmail.com. Our YouTube is Good Movie Hunting Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for all of your patience. Waiting for us to resume recording, but we are back, and we hope you enjoy. First, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to give some fun facts. I don't have very many, but let's see. Probably my favorite out of all of these fun facts is that the wig that Billy wears in this movie is the same wig that he wore in the first movie. No, so actually, like, the entire prosthetics and his entire costume is the same thing that he wore. They kept him all of those years because he has the same... The guy who plays him has... like some sort of condition. I don't know exactly what it is, but he kept his exact bone structure for the past 29 years.
So it is the same guy.
It's the same guy. It's the exact same costume and everything. That's the reason why he looks so good in comparison to like Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker in them.
Yeah.
Because it was the exact same thing.
Wow. Yeah, I loved that, and I really loved Billy in the first movie, so that was really fun. Like,
I don't know, I was a Binks kind of girl. So.
Girl. Just combine the two.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I liked Binks too, but Billy just was like, just like the comedic relief, I guess. In the first movie, Mary's mouth is crooked on the right side, but in this movie, it's to the left. And apparently, the actress, Kathy Najimy, is how I would think. Yeah. I'm just going to guess here. But she said that it's actually like too difficult for her to do it now on the right side. And so, like, to explain that out in the movie,
Winifred slapped her and she switched sides.
Yeah, there's that scene, and they're like, there we go. That explains everything. We're good now.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last fact that I have, which is actually pretty interesting, and I guess out of all of them, I didn't expect this, but apparently Sarah Jessica Parker's 10th great-grandmother was actually arrested for witchcraft in Salem back in the 1600s.
But does it really count if it's like your 10th grade? Do you even get to say, "Oh, well, I have witch blood in my family"? If it's like your 10th grade grandma, come on.
Well, I mean, it's
interesting.
It is more than nothing. So I guess, and the fact too that like she plays a witch, you know, like a famous witch in TV, like, so I guess that was pretty cool for her. But yeah, out of all of them, I was like, that surprised me, you know,
Sarah
that it was
Jessica
her.
Parker. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. But I don't really know too much about her like background, so. Yeah, those are my fun facts that I have. So we are going to jump right into the movie. First of all, gotta say, I loved how they did the Disney castle, like all spooky and stuff in the intro instead of just going classic. I thought that was really fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
In this movie, it starts in Salem, back when the Sanderson sisters are little teenagers. Winifred has just turned 16 and is on the verge of getting her witch's powers. There's, you know, the movie opens up and I love that she's like storming through the town and there's that old lady that's walking out of the house.
Yeah, and that's enough outside today.
Yeah, she's like, that's enough, goodbye, and just goes straight back inside. I love that energy. That's totally me.
Yeah, definitely.
Like one bad thing happens to me and I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Yeah.
Done for the day. Shortly after this whole scene, she is exiled from Salem by Reverend Trask after she refuses to follow through with the arranged marriage to John Pritchett that the Reverend had set up for her. She doesn't want to be separated from her sisters, so they all decide to escape in a nearby forest that's like a forbidden forest. I guess they think it's like haunted or something.
I mean, fair. It's a forest in Massachusetts. I wouldn't put it past it, you know? Like, that's a fair assumption.
Looks pretty spooky.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We'll just never set foot in there.
Yeah.
So when they get to the woods, they start to hear the classic witch luring song, which I love. Ever since we watched the movie, I had that song stuck in my head. I was like, why you gotta do this to me?
It is, like,
very catchy.
Yeah. And for what? I mean, I guess it served its point, but
yeah. And I only remember like the first couple words, and that's it. Like the "Come little children."
I don't think anybody remembers.
Away. And then nope. Darkness, maybe.
I don't think it's darkness. I think that's too sad to lure children away.
They're like, "Come, children, into the dark." That's great. They'll fall for that. Don't worry about it. So yeah, they have the classic songs playing, and then at which point they meet the big Mama Witch, is what I will call her. So Mama Witch is impressed by Winifred's feistiness and their interaction.
Do you know who she is? Like, who else she's played? No. Remember the chick from Game of Thrones with the shame with the bell?
Really?
Yeah, that's her. She's like the weird, creepy nun.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's her. I know, it's weird.
I know I recognized her, but I didn't look like on her page to see what I had known her from. So in this interaction, she's impressed by Winifred and she decides to give her book.
Okay.
Go ahead.
There's a
you don't have to you like raising your hand like you're in grade school.
But there's a major continuity error because in the first movie they state that Winifred got the book from the devil himself.
Wait, but who says it? Is it like in the school or?
No, Winifred's, or I think the school said it.
The
so
school
I mean,
says
like, I
it,
guess,
yeah.
but
so it could be, but yeah, I see what you're saying.
Me so bad because you think if they have all of the other details down, why wouldn't they have that down? I don't know.
I have a feeling, and we'll talk about it later, but I have a feeling that they wanted to open up that storyline to possibly leave something open later on.
Yeah, that maybe the mother got it from the devil himself or whatever.
So at this time she gives her a book, but the only thing is she does warn her against a certain spell in the book called Magicae Maxima, and tells them that it does make a witch all powerful, but that book itself does not like this spell and don't do it. Just don't.
It scares him.
Yeah. He'd be sweating about it. Which
Quite literally.
literally, that part was hilarious. We'll get there.
Poor dude's paranoid.
So now, flash forward to 2022. It's been 29 years since Max.
Yeah. Since Max lit the black flame candle, and
For some reason, I was doing my notes and I was like,
Which,
I
by
want
the
to
way,
write
he
Binks,
was-
but Binks
he
is
was
the cat.
so horrible. Like, genuinely, like, I could see why the Sanderson sisters wanted to hurt him. Because who wouldn't? He was just, I'm from California. I'm gonna do this thing and ignore all other advice. Like,
That's his whole shtick.
yeah.
It has been 29 years since Max summoned the Sanderson sisters with the black flame candle. At this time, our main character of the story, Becca, is turning 16 and has a birthday tradition / ritual of going into the woods with her two best friends to light a candle and basically, make a wish, for the upcoming year. It's just like your regular hoorah, but not on a cake.
I wouldn't call it your regular hoorah, considering they do it in the middle of the night in the forest.
Isn't that how all birthdays go? What is your family doing?
There's usually a table and cake involved, but yeah, sure.
Boring. But yeah, so they go out in the woods and they're, manifesting that shit. They want to put it out there that they're going to have a good upcoming year. However, they do have trouble in paradise with the third friend, Cassie. And she's not, explicitly not invited, but it's kind of like...
She ditched them.
That general vibe. Yeah, because she's got this dumb new boyfriend and nobody likes him.
She's my favorite character.
It's just you got to have that little simpleton of comedic relief, I guess.
He was just a himbo. He wasn't trying to be...
I know, there's that scene, it's he didn't even realize he was being a bully because he's just that dumb.
Yeah, he thought that he was just trying to make conversation, man.
Yeah, he's
Poor dude.
I know I was saying you're weird, but no hard feelings, bro. Just hanging out.
I would accept that apology. I would.
I would, honestly. Yeah. Everyone has their own different personality quirks, so.
Yeah. That's what we can call it.
Becca and her friend Izzy visit a magic shop, which was formerly the Sanderson Cottage, run by a guy named Gilbert, who gives Becca a candle for her annual birthday ritual that she does. They go into the forest and they light the candle and discover that it is black flame candle number dos.
Why would you... Why?
Just why?
Yeah, why would you want to bring back the...
I felt so conflicted because his reasoning is he's oh, well, it was different times. Women were just misunderstood and called witches because they wanted to voice their opinions and stuff.
The 90s was so much, harder.
I understand his take of witchcraft. It
was hated and frowned upon and all that,
but it was more so of they didn't like women. There's that scene in the very beginning where when Winifred's telling the Reverend, she's no, I'm not going to marry this guy. Yeah. And one of the women in the crowd says, you can't talk to a man like that. And I think it's that kind of vibe that Gilbert's
Which, yeah, in that case, Winifred's a girl boss or whatever, but, still, you can't justify the actions that happened.
Mm-hmm, yeah. But I think that he was there are things that are lost, I guess, in the pages of history, things that really happened or didn't happen that don't get written about. So I'm totally that kind of person where I play devil's advocate, I'm on both sides.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yes, also shame on you, Gilbert. You can empathize with them, but also not bring them back to life, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's not the best course of action.
Also, I can't decide if this candle looks more like a shit or like a misshapen penis.
I was about to ask, is this how we're gonna bring in Willem Dafoe into this episode? Because
yes, we're just gonna say we hope that that's not what Willem Dafoe's dick looks like. We know that it's large, but I hope it's not. I hope it does not take on that shape.
Maybe that's why it was so distracting. I don't know. But
oh God. Yes. So the candle, the Willem Dafoe dick candle, is lit, and it brings back the Sanderson sisters. And of course, it's their luck that it is a full moon, and the girls are both virgins. So, yeah, there's your little combo. At this time, the sisters come back and they do their little dance, which I thought was a little weird that they jump straight into singing. I was like, you're not gonna I don't know.
I guess because it's like one of Bette Midler's she hasn't been
thing.
In a lot of things, so I guess she was either just really wanting to sing, or maybe they just thought, hey, Bette Midler hasn't done anything in a long time. Let's just have the first thing we see her do sing.
Yeah, just let her have this. So after this whole literally song and dance that happens, the girls trick the sisters by saying that they don't have to, suck out children's souls anymore, that now they can go purchase potions called lotions that already have the souls mixed into them. And it's great because, of course you think lotion, beauty care. Oh, let's go to our local Walgreens.
Yeah, I guess because it was the nearest place that they could find that a small town would have, I guess.
Yeah, no Sephora's around here. We're just going to Walgreens. Don't worry about it.
But not even an Ulta?
Oh, and Danny was just cackling because I used to work at a Walgreens, and he's like, of course, this is what gets brought into this. So this happens, they go in there, and it's just hilarious and disgusting. I mean, they start drinking the freaking lotions and stuff, and they're
eating a face mask.
That cracked me up. And they were like,
that made me cringe so hard internally.
I would prefer eating a face mask to drinking a lotion, though. If I had to choose.
I mean, I guess because you could go, ball it up and get it over quicker.
But that big ol' freaking tub of lotion, nope. No, thank you. So then the girls, they end up escaping, and they run back to the magic shop where at this time they find out that they were victims of Gilbert's elaborate plan to bring back the sisters. He said that he saw them, what got him inspired to do this is kind of like what I said before, but also that he saw them flying in the sky on Halloween night back in 1993, and that he just was
enamored, I guess would be the word.
I don't know, because he saw him for 10 seconds, so I don't even understand that reasoning, but whatever.
But also, if I was 10 years old and I saw a bunch of women flying in the sky, I wouldn't be oh yeah, let me try to bring these women back to life 30 years later.
Yeah, he went a little off the deep end with that one. The sisters catch up to the girls and see a campaign flyer belonging to Mayor Trask, who is Cassie's dad, and coincidence, Reverend Trask's direct descendants. So at this time, Winifred decides. I feel like Winifred is a difficult name to
really
get out. Winifred.
I guess in comparison to Mary and Sarah, they had to have something that would, was weirder or more out there,
a little more complex. I don't know. So Winifred decides that she is going to exact revenge, and she's going to cast the Magicae Maxima spell to get back at Trask, and basically she's gonna kill him. She doesn't really say that, I don't think, but she's
well, because it's Disney, I don't think you can.
She's we're gonna destroy him.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Izzy and Becca end up getting trapped in the basement underneath the
cottage. Cottage is the word you're looking for.
I lost it. My brain was just gone for a second. They get trapped down in the basement of the cottage, and the sisters leave to go hunt down Trask to get his blood for the Magicae Maxima spell. They force Gilbert into helping them find the ingredients by making it. They say something about it being like a contract, but apparently it's more of a curse.
Yeah,
is what Billy says. And so then Gilbert goes and he has to get the head of the lover for the spell. So of course you got to bring Billy back into this whole mess. Poor Billy. That's just the theme that's been, throughout these two movies.
Dude was done so wrong.
The girls escape the basement and go to Cassie's house to warn the mayor. At this time, Gilbert digs up Billy, he's been awake, like he wasn't even properly put to sleep in his grave. He's just been like...
Yeah, he's been awake for 30 years, just now thinking that, no, I'm gonna correct these people. I was not her lover. Like...
He's like, I kissed her one time. Oh, please don't make this my claim to fame.
In a graveyard, nonetheless.
Ooh.
Who does... No. Mm-mm.
I'm sure that was her idea.
Oh, yeah,
all
definitely.
day. He's like, why are you bringing me out here? She's like, it's so romantic.
I'm scared. Yeah.
Gilbert tricks Billy into helping him collect the other ingredients. The girls go get together with Cassie to save her dad and manage to trap the sisters in Cassie's garage with a salt circle around them. But Mary's Roombas that we haven't even mentioned, of course, at the Greens, they got to get their things to escape on.
Yeah.
And Winnie, of course, gets the only broom that's there. And then Sarah gets the Swiffer.
Wet jet.
Yeah.
Yes.
Gotta say that. And Mary ends up getting Roombas, which I don't know about you, but I've never seen Roombas for sale in a Walgreens. I feel like it's a bit of a high dollar item.
Yeah, definitely.
To be in your local Walgreens, but it's funny. They had to get that in there somewhere, so whatever. So yes, Mary's Roombas end up vacuuming up the salt circle, and that's how they end up escaping. And they decide to kidnap Cassie to use her blood instead because... Yeah, they're like, she's related. Too hard.
She's related to Reverend Trask, and so I guess it's like the blood of the enemy is still in her, which is still very convoluted because didn't they originally think that the mayor was Reverend Trask?
Yeah, well, one of them did. I think one of them said that, and then, Winifred has to be her, and she's like, you're so fucking stupid. Of course it's not him. It's his descendant. Like, she's always freaking belittling her sisters. Becca and Izzy follow them to the Forbidden Forest. At this time, Becca discovers that she has her witch's powers when she accidentally zaps one of the sisters. Like,
But, like...
I think she's saying stop or something. I don't know what happens, but yeah.
But how would you, like, not just go ahead and put two and two together considering y'all had already used, like, magic earlier in the movie to escape the basement of the cottage?
Yeah, she was just a little slow to putting the pieces together, but it is her 16th birthday, and she did get her witch's powers. The sisters end up going and doing their thing. They got all their ingredients, which also, I gotta say, it kills me that they get all the ingredients and one of them is supposed to be like a petrified spider,
and it's a freaking stuffed spider. Like
how is that even close?
Yeah, like, they didn't have to go ahead and dig up Billy for that if it's like that.
I just think it's crazy, but like, how does that qualify for the spell? Like, they would have been better off finding like a live spider. How is a stuffed animal closer to a petrified spider than...
Also, I feel like they could have gotten a live spider and brought it to the witches and be like, hey, can you just do something real quick?
Petrify this.
Yeah,
they're witches.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. But also, what pains me is, okay, so how they got out of the basement was they used some sort of leaves that starts with an A. I can't think of the name right now. Angelica leaves. And, Gilbert says that it's used to lift curses. So why didn't he use the Angelica leaves that he so obviously still had in the store with him to lift his curse so he wouldn't die if he didn't get the ingredients?
Solid point. Because he doesn't want to be doing their bidding, but he does it because he's, afraid for his life. So, yeah, he's supposed to be, the expert. He runs a freaking magic shop. He should have been able to find a way.
Literally.
Rude AF. I do really like his character, though.
He was
if I'm
adorable.
being honest.
Yeah, he was adorable.
I couldn't be too mad at him.
Though tricking minors to do your bidding is a little iffy.
A little fucked.
A little bit? Yeah.
A little fucked up.
Yeah.
No, yeah. We're on the fence. Probably not, but just a little.
I don't think that he would do anything super wrong, just
no. And he does get upset with his sisters when they trap the girls and stuff, and he's like, hey, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, he says, hey, can we talk about this? And Winifred goes, no.
He's like, all right. And I love that part where, what is it, he's talking about something. Oh, I think he's explaining when he saw them on the Halloween night and stuff, and then it goes back to them, and he's wow, y'all are very close to me. And they're all basically laying on him.
Well, I mean, comedic effect.
They were just getting really into the story.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So yeah, back to the whole mess. But the sisters get halfway through their spell, but Becca ends up distracting them so that Izzy can rescue Cassie. And it's around this time that Becca realizes that Book really is sentient. Book has wants, things he likes, doesn't like.
Because she saw Book close itself when Winifred suggested that they do Magicae Maxima?
I think so.
Yeah. And it closed itself and was kind of shivering.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Book is sentient, which is also horrifying because canonically Book is bound in human skin.
Mm-hmm. I want to know more about that, about the history of Book itself.
If they're gonna do another spinoff, I want to know how Book gets made.
Yeah.
Is that too nerdy? I don't think it is.
No, and honestly, I think the way they end it leaves it very much open to find out the history of Mama Witch and the Book and all that stuff. Maybe if they don't end up doing a third movie where it's all about the Sanderson sisters, maybe they could still be in it, but maybe it's more about it's a prequel basically to them.
Yeah, definitely. Well, because they never outright said that I think in if you look up the cast on Google, she's listed as Supreme Mother or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they never outwardly state that she died, and she was obviously still very successful at luring children away.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very big possibility that she's just in somewhere else in the world, still doing her thing, still being an old witchy witch, and I don't know,
living her life,
so
biding her time.
I think that's probably gonna if they do another movie, I think that's what it's probably gonna be.
Yeah. So Book is sentient, and Becca decides to convince Book basically that it doesn't have to answer to Winifred, because she knows that Book really doesn't want to do the Magicae Maxima. So she's like, come be with us instead. And so Book goes to Becca, and they take Book and run into the forest. However, apparently Winifred, the spell has to be said 7 or 8 times or some shit like that.
Yeah, it has to be recited 7 times.
Yeah, so I guess she's memorized it already. So she's like, fuck it, I don't even need Book, I'm just gonna go for it. And So she completes the spell, but while she's doing that, the girls are in the forest, and Book shows them the not so fine print warning. I mean, it's like there.
Right there in your face.
Like big bold letters right before the Magicae Maxima spell, where it says that the witch who casts it must give up what they love or cherish the most.
Which, by the way, like that is in the in what they're reciting. It's in the spell itself.
Yes.
That that you have to, I'm giving up what I love for this ultimate power or something like that.
Something about her love tonight. I do remember like hearing that in the spell, like, and I'm thinking
under
like
the moon, which is very weird.
I'm like wondering, like, you're really not absorbing any of what you're saying, right? Like, it's all just a means to an end. Like, she's just saying it, not even thinking about what she's saying, just thinking about her end goal. So the girls decide to warn Winifred of the price that this spell is going to exact upon her, but by the time they get back, it's too late. Winifred has gotten her ultimate power, but Mary and Sarah start to turn to dust. Winifred is distraught, and she's begging the girls to use their power to save her sisters. I will put in here at this part, I kind of felt like it was like lacking a little bit in that she goes from being such a not evil, because I mean there's definitely more evil characters out there, but being so like chaotic, we'll say, being so chaotic to all of a sudden, like, I get it, she's upset her sisters are gone, but she's all of a sudden like, oh, like, you understand, like, you can't be without them, and like I thought there was going to be a little more of like a build up to it, but she just immediately just starts like begging them.
Well, there was a little bit of a build up, at least in my opinion, where she just is like, oh, I have all this power now, and then she looks around and she's like, oh wait, hold on, and you can see her face like visibly drop.
That's true.
When she realizes that her sisters are actually no more. But why do they have to Infinity Wars us? Like like, I don't feel too good, Mr. Stark. Like, that hit me like right in my heart. That
like, why they gotta keep turning all these people to dust, our beloved characters.
Literally.
Rude. So yeah, Winifred is begging the girls, saying, please, like, I need my sisters. I'm nothing without my sisters. We've been together for so long. But they don't. They don't have the power to. There's nothing that they can do to bring the sisters back. The only thing that they can do, which apparently Book is moved by everything that happened, like, even though he's upset that Winifred did this, like, still sad because Book had some sort of like loyalty, allegiance to Winifred and the sisters, and so Book,
she refers herself as, oh god, I hate this word, mommy.
Like, to the Book.
Yeah, to the Book. So like, I definitely, there is like some sort of weird, like, not even parasocial relationship happening there, but there is a very weird relationship.
Yeah, and they've been together for like, and she says it too, like, that it's been like 300 years since her and Book were united.
So 329 years.
Yeah, so they've been together for a long time, and so there's definitely that allegiance there. Well, at least Book to Winifred, maybe not so much Winifred to Book, but
oh yeah.
So Book is moved by all of this, and opens up to the spell that gives the girls the power to send Winifred off to be with her sisters. Since they can't bring the sisters back, Winifred can go with them. And so they do that, and Winifred turns to dust, and she's reunited with her sisters. And at this time, because the sisters are gone, all the spells that they had cast, fade away too. So that means Billy fades away. And,
poor dude.
Poor guy, but also, like, thank God he can get some rest finally. Like, but he's like, just been...
If they're together, like, is he with them? Because then I don't think he's really getting any sort of rest whatsoever.
I hope not. I hope he gets to go far away. Even if they're going like they go to the same place, hopefully they
like on completely opposite sides.
Yeah,
Poor
it's
girl.
totally separate. Otherwise, he's probably going to like strangle her. She's going to get dead a second time because he's going to get his hands on her.
Finally, after 330 years.
Yeah, right. So Billy is finally gone. The girls decide to keep Book and become their own little coven. But here's our little thing at the end where this leaves this possibly open. They are walking off into the night, and there is a bird that flies above them,
which signifies the Mother Witch.
That is just like the Mother Witch that you see in the beginning of the movie. And that's where it ends. And so that, like we were saying, I think that definitely leaves it open to possibly doing another sequel.
And in the after credit scene, you
take it away.
Okay, so the little black cat Cobweb is like walking throughout the house, and not the house, but like the
shop.
Yeah, the magic shop, which was previously the Sandersons' cottage.
And Cobweb is Gilbert's cat.
Yeah, Cobweb is...
we didn't mention. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Cobweb.
But he jumps up onto the shelf and kind of goes behind a book. And you can see in the shot behind him is another box that is literally labeled Black Flame Candle number 2. Which if you're going to be so stupid as to make the first one, why not make a second one?
And also stupid because it's actually technically Black Flame Candle number 3, because there was like the OG, then there was the Willem Dafoe Dick candle, and then this candle would be the third.
I want to know how much more phallic this candle is going to be.
Oh, God.
Because the first one was like straightforward. That looked like a candle.
Yeah.
This one looked crooked dick. Like I can't.
It was all over the place. I hope there's nobody out there that has a dick that looks like that, because it looks painful.
If there is, they need to go to the doctor.
They need some psychological help probably as well. I mean,
yeah, like that requires surgical assistance.
Precision. Yeah, this one's going to be just like girthy and straight up. Like it's going to be a true to form Willem Dafoe Dick candle. With no deformities this time.
Listen, man, you never know. Oh, wait, I have a question.
Yep.
What did you think about like their little bewitching music scene?
Oh, I meant to put that in my notes. Honestly, I'm like 100% upset that they didn't do I Put a Spell on You.
Again, right? Because it's so iconic.
It was so good. It was so iconic in the first one, and I get that maybe they didn't want to just like rehash it, but
I Put a Spell on You was so iconic, and I feel like, you know, one way or another. Yeah, exactly. One way or another doesn't really fit that. Okay, in context of the movie, I guess, because they're going after one person or like one family. Sure, but it was kind of ass. I hated the scene, but what I did love was all the different costume callbacks.
Yes,
like there was a girl in the crowd dressed as Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
There was a group of women dressed as the Dream Girls, and you know with the red sequin and the. You don't know what Dream Girls is, do you?
Why am I having a brain fart? I don't know. Don't look at me like that with shock in your eyes. Look it up. Show me.
Okay.
Jog my memory. But while you're looking it up, I will say too, speaking of like costumes and stuff and little like things like that, there was that scene and I loved it. Like I started screaming when I saw it when the Trask guy, he's like in line for his candy apple and he turns around and he asks those people to save his spot in line. And that couple is dressed up like the devil and his wife couple from the first movie.
Okay, but that freaks me out because the original people who played that couple are literally brother and sister in real life.
Ew.
Yeah, exactly.
Ew.
Right? Like that freaks me out. Like it's the same thing as...
Well, at least they were like not all over each other in the first movie.
That's the reason. Like...
They acted like they hated each other.
Like, I think that's why, because they're literally brother and sister in real life. So.
Ooh. But I love that because I thought that's. one of the weirder things, I guess, that I love about the first movie is that part when they go and they see him, the devil guy dressed up, and they're like, "Master, it's you," and they're just
exactly,
and he's eating it up, he's loving it, and then his wife is like,
"These women."
No, I don't know who them.
Well, in the
who them are.
In the first movie, they were like in the front row when they were doing "I Put a Spell on You."
Oh,
and so
gotcha. Okay, yeah. So
and,
different costumes from that party.
Oh,
okay.
And Glenn dressed up as Dracula with like the really fake-looking widow's peak and everything, which is my favorite thing.
Yeah, they're at the beginning. And then, speaking of the devil scene, there's also that part where Winifred, all of the sisters are going throughout the city, and they're trying to find Mayor Trask. And Winifred looks into one of the windows, and the people inside are watching the original movie on TV.
How does that work? Like, did they go back and, like, is that, like, a mockumentary? Like, or, like, what is that supposed to be? Because,
I don't know, but I love it.
Like, in cinematic context, that does not make sense.
It's almost like breaking the fourth wall, I guess, but not.
But there's
many gotta be
better
a term
ways
for it.
I don't know. I want an explanation for that, though, because that does not make sense.
That was cuckoo
at all. Like, unless it's like some weird multiverse thing. I don't know. But
Hocus Pocus multiverse.
I have
TM.
I have to bring in Marvel some way somehow.
I mean, you already talked about, freaking Thanos thing and
I did, didn't I?
Yeah. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. All right, everyone. So that is Hocus Pocus 2. We hope that you enjoyed our little discussion about it. But before we go, we do have to give our official opinion ratings of the movie. And I'll go first. I give this movie 7 Walgreens out of 10. Walgreens.
See, I was gonna say 7 lotion bottles out of 10.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Danny always I put him on the spot. He never thinks about it beforehand, like what he's gonna use as his rating system, and then he's always like, "Oh, you picked a good one," and then he'll sit there for 5 minutes and be like,
"It's Daniel. I don't."
I mean, what do you expect?
Exactly.
All right, everyone. Well, you heard it here at the good old GMH, and I like that we were synchronized on that. We gave it a good old 7 out of 10. So that's it. You heard it here first, folks. Okay. Well, goodbye, everyone. I'll go ahead and drop our socials again if you didn't hear it the first time. We have a Facebook page at Good Movie Hunting or at GMH Podcast, Twitter at GMH Pod, Instagram at GMH Podcast. Our email is goodmoviehuntingpod@gmail.com. Our YouTube is Good Movie Hunting Podcast. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We hope you have a spooky ooky October. And spooky ooky.
Okay.
And we will talk at you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Pictures up, class, please.
Parker? What's on your mind?
I've thought about this all night. Whether what I'm about to do is the right thing or not.
Let me go in and talk to him alone, Dr. Mallory.
I did so only because he was working along lines contrary to the good of mankind.
Well, Rangers, looks as though Agents Mackenzie and Hopkins are going to have to get to that hacienda and get there mighty fast.
To crush all opposition and make me the most powerful man in the world.